Welcome to Frederick at its best. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner, and today I'm very honored to welcome a true hero to Winchester Hall. Mr. Guy Whidden enlisted in the Army right out of high school in 1941 after the attack on Pearl Harbor. He was a paratrooper in HQ Company 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division in World War II. He was a machine gunner and participated in the historic jump into Normandy in the early hours of June 6, 1944. Guy also parachuted into Holland during Operation Market Garden in September of 1944, which is not that long after the jump into Normandy. In the 1940s, flying was like riding on the worst roller coaster you could ever imagine. Paratroopers then jumped out into the darkness and into enemy fire. World War II veterans have incredible stories to tell. Mr. Whidden has shared his story of being pinned down by a German soldier who pressed a gun on him. After a fearful staring contest, the German gave up his gun to Guy without killing him. To this day, Guy attributes his escape from death to divine intervention. Later in the war, he was severely wounded during a mortar attack that killed 3 of his best friends. He was severely injured, nearly losing a leg to amputation. Afterwards, he was sent back to Fort Benning and served as a jump school instructor. Always the risk taker, Mr. Whidden made a re-jump in 1994 at the age of 73 on the 50th anniversary of D-Day with about 40 other paratroopers. Guy has written a book about his experiences titled Between the Lines and Beyond. His book recounts his time in World War II through letters he wrote to his mother. Now, those letters were censored, so his family had to literally read between the lines to figure out the many experiences he described. After the war, Guy lived in Frederick County, where he built his reputation as a competitor, a coach, and an athletics official. He drew on his experiences playing baseball and boxing during his time in military service. He was an outstanding collegiate wrestler and coached or taught a variety of sports in Frederick County. The YMCA inducted Mr. Whidden into their local Sports Hall of Fame in 2015 in recognition of his work to establish wrestling programs in several of our county high schools. As with any hero, there is even an action figure of Mr. Whidden. The figure features realistic sculpting and paratrooper attire. If you want to learn more, you can follow the Facebook page entitled Friends of Guy Whidden, World War II Paratrooper, 502nd, 101 Airborne. Frederick County's new Veteran Advisory Council, and some of their members are here today, suggested this recognition of Guy Whidden. As the world prepares for the next month's 75th anniversary of the D-Day landing, Guy has received countless awards and medals in recognition of his sacrifice and his dedicated service to our nation. These include the Purple Heart, the Combat Infantry Badge, the Netherlands Orange Lanyard, and the Good Conduct Medal. Today we'll add to this recognition with a special proclamation, which I'd like to read. Whereas Guy Whidden valiantly served our country in World War II as a paratrooper in HQ Company 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division, and whereas in commemoration of the 75th anniversary of D-Day, we remember that Guy Whidden participated in the massive airborne operation that preceded the Allied amphibious invasion of the Normandy beaches in the early hours of June 6, 1944. And whereas as part of the greatest generation, Guy Whidden's honorable service will forever inspire future generations of Americans to come together to work for the continued betterment of the United States and the world. And whereas on behalf of the citizens of Frederick County, we extend to Guy Whidden our appreciation for his defense of our freedom and security. As a true hero, his service has ensured a bright future for our county and the United States of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. So now, therefore, as the County Executive of Frederick County, Maryland, I do hereby proclaim today, May 14th, 2019, as Guy Whidden Day in Frederick County and commend this observance to all of our citizens. So there are many people here who want to recognize you, Mr. Whidden, and to appreciate what you have done for our country and our community. And I do want to, I think I'll pass the microphone this way. I wanted to start out with the federal recognitions. So Juliana Albowitz has those. So I'll pass this to you.
Thank you, Jan. I would just like to say good morning, and it's not every day that I get to meet an American hero. Mr. Whidden, thank you so very much for your service. I do have a citation from Senator Chris Van Hollen to present to you, and this citation is presented to Guy Whidden in recognition of your courageous service in World War II as a paratrooper in the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment of the Army's 101st Airborne Division, and with deepest gratitude and appreciation for your distinguished service to our nation and to the causes of freedom and liberty. It's signed Chris Van Hollen, United States Senator, on this the 14th of May, 2019. I'll pass that down. And I've also been asked to present another one to you. Caitlin Anjay, who represents Congressman David Trone, lost her grandmother last night. So she's on her way to Pennsylvania. And she wanted to be here and actually meet you and give you this. So on behalf of them, I'm presenting a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Sergeant Guy Whidden, United States Army, in recognition of your service with the 101st Airborne during the Allied invasion of Normandy and during World War II. Your nation is forever grateful. Thank you. Signed, David Trone, Member of Congress. And we have Kathleen Connor here with Congressman Jamie Raskin.
Thanks, Jan. Thanks for inviting us to participate, and I second Juliana's remarks about the honor of meeting a hero. So I'll be quick. Congressman Raskin asked me to represent him today and present you with another certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Guy Whidden in recognition of your valiant and honorable service to our country during World War II and your enduring commitment to preserving our freedom and security. Signed, Jamie Raskin, Member of Congress, 8th District, Maryland, May 14th, 2019. Thank you.
I know we have a couple of members of our state delegation here. We have our delegation chair, Carol Krim, in the audience. Would you like to come up? And we also have Delegate Ken Kerr. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you. I first met Guy Whidden when I moved into Eastview 17 years ago. He was one of the first neighbors I met. I then saw him later that year when he knocked on my door to make sure we didn't have any young children in the house, because every year to commemorate D-Day, he would bring up a commemorative item to all the kids in the neighborhood. I think that year you had T-shirts that you were giving all the children. Guy's a much beloved member of our community, and as a result, the kids in the neighborhood always make sure his grass is mowed and his snow is shoveled.
That's a good thing for them to do.
He's a treasure to our community and to our county and to our state, and I would like to present you, on behalf of the Frederick delegation, this pin with the seal of the Maryland General Assembly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Carol, do you want to say anything?
Good morning, Mr. Whidden, and thank you for your service. It's quite an honor for me to be here because my dad was a paratrooper in the Second World War. He was a member of the 82nd Airborne of the 504 Division. And yes,
Yeah,
and
briefly with 504.
oh, so I'm
They were
doubly
shot down
honored.
near Sicily.
Yes, and he was also involved in the Operation Market Garden, and he was also in Holland and helped to liberate that area of Europe. So I'm very honored to be here and to honor you. My dad is no longer with us, but I'm glad you are here, and I'm glad we are able to honor you today.
I like to feel like I'm representing all those who've gone before me. They're the real heroes, the ones that died. And my whole squad was killed right next to me in the Netherlands, and I always remember that. They were young, but they only lived a short time. So I feel that I'm being honored, but I'm thinking about them at this time. they're the true heroes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And you know, all these lovely people here, so many of them have friends in the airborne, family members and so forth, and there's a couple of lady colonels I've met. I always admire the women and what they can accomplish today, all these young people. Yeah, but I was always a women's libber, so
A man before his time.
yes, thank you.
All right, I'm going to have a few other people say a few words if they'd like and introduce themselves. I'll turn it over to Major
Hi.
General Holcomb.
I'm General Holcomb, the commander for Fort Detrick.
Oh, you're a two-star general?
I am.
My grandfather was a two-star general from Maine.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
thank you,
great.
Colonel.
Nice to meet you as well.
General, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. I just wanted to say thank you very much for your service.
Well, thank you.
And you are living history. I mean, you are the people that, you know, I learned about growing up in the military and the service and the sacrifice that you made as a screaming eagle, falling out of airplanes.
I'm sure the enlisted people like I were, you're a soldier's general. Like Eisenhower, we loved him.
Well, thank you very much.
And thank you, General.
I'm also a nurse.
Oh.
And so I know you had experience in
Oh,
the
absolutely.
healthcare setting, and we learned so much from the war to help improve medical care. So you added to that as well. But what I really admire is that you watched your friends get killed, and you've picked that up and you've taken it and you've shared your life with children and youth as a teacher. And I know that you've made tremendous impact on so many
you so
children
much.
and young adults. So I truly do appreciate it, and it's an honor to be here. And I'd like to present you with a coin of excellence from the Medical Research and Material Command.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's beautiful.
It's a paperweight.
Yeah, two-star general. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, General.
All right, do you want to take the microphone that's there and just pass it around? Everybody else who's here can introduce themselves. I'm going to leave this with you so you can have it when you speak.
Well, Gal, I'm sorry I was late. I thought you were jumping today. I went to the airport. I know his whole life, even in his 90s, he was looking to try to get somebody to push him out of an airplane.
Well, they had me up in a plane there 2 years ago in the Netherlands,
Yeah.
but I was going to do a static tandem jump. I wanted to do the real thing, but it just didn't happen.
I know.
The cloud cover was too low. So
We know you're a hero and all these wonderful citations, but you're a legend in Frederick County. All the young people, tens, hundreds and hundreds,
I'm
all
not
the
a
coaching
hero.
you've done over the years.
I'm just another old veteran. So,
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very
We really
much.
appreciate all you do.
thank you, General. Lieutenant, I'm Colonel. Yeah, I'm getting these ranks all mixed up. Yeah.
I know Guy is a runner and knew him for years, so he got me through my first JFK 50 miler by
Oh.
driving his car the last 6 miles and holding pretzels out the window for me. And
Oh, you're
also-
the one that jumped in the car. That's right. Oh, yeah, I'll keep that a secret.
we'll talk about that later.
I remember that.
I'm going to pass the
I
microphone
talked to
to
you about that.
a gentleman that did 29 JFK 50 milers and knows Guy well. So.
If you can all introduce yourselves, I'd appreciate that.
Good morning. My name's Fred Schumacher, and John Kippen mentioned the JFK 50 miler. But Guy, you were one of the first of the 6 who finished the JFK when they first started that race. And
It was a real social event.
I understand that. But my experience with Guy was mile 42, maybe 10 years ago. Guy said, "Son, you're not going to make the cutoff. Get in the van. The race is over for you today." Oh, knowing Guy's experience, I said, "Yes, Sergeant, I will."
Good morning, Guy. I'm Sharon Jacko, and I met Guy years ago, in fact, at this young man's place. I was humbled then. I am humbled to be standing here in front of you. You were my hero the day I met you. I love you. I
love
love
you,
what
dear.
you do. And I'm on the Veterans Advisory Council, and it's because of people like you that we want to push and make it better for veterans here in Frederick County. And that's my promise to you, Guy.
Well,
We're going to make it better for veterans in Frederick
Colonel,
County.
you're the first colonel I ever loved. And after my wife passed away, she was my favorite colonel.
Well, you're my first enlisted man. How about that?
Thank you. We'll have to go out to lunch sometime.
Thank you, Guy.
My name is Larry Matthews. I'm with American Legion Post 171 in Damascus. I jumped with 101st in the early 60s, and guys like Guy were gods to us, and there aren't as many as there used to be, but they still are. And I don't have any stars on my wings, but if you look at his jump wings, you'll see 2 stars. Each one of those stars represents a jump
I'd rather
into
have
combat.
her 2 stars.
I'm George Bowling, also from Damascus American Legion.
Yes.
And it's a great honor to know you, sir.
Well, thank you, sir.
Congratulations to you.
Well, you're all great people. You're good Americans.
Good morning, Sergeant.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, so I'm Tim Sprunger. I'm the
you
Command
went
Sergeant
to jump
Major,
school, right?
Airborne.
Yeah,
It's
airborne
nice to
all
meet
the
you.
way.
Nice to meet another paratrooper.
Yes.
Um,
82nd.
82nd,
Yeah.
1508, and 1325 and 3325.
Yeah, I almost went over with a 504 because I went through jump school with guys that were 82nd, and I always regretted that. They made 4 combat jumps, the 82nd, but you're lucky to be one that survived 4 of them.
Well, it was always a good ride. But thank you for your service. We definitely appreciate it, and the service to the community here.
Thank you so much.
But it's always great to meet another paratrooper.
That's good.
So,
It's good.
Cool, on your day.
Yeah, we know each other, don't we?
Right on, airborne.
Yeah, airborne.
Hi, Guy. I'm Rachel Necklace. It's an honor to meet you. I'm with the VAC as well, the Veterans Advisory Council, and with FCC's Veteran and Military Student Center. And the students in the center, the veterans that come in, are all very aware of your contributions and look up to you and talk about you. And it's just a real honor to be here today and share this.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you so much. You know, I always wanted to, I had an appointment to West Point out of high school, and that didn't work because of Pearl Harbor. So I went in as a private. I wanted to be an officer. Then I got an appointment a field appointment out of Normandy to go to West Point. They said, pack up, you're going back to West Point. I was packing fast. And they found out that I was 10 days too old. So I never got to go to West Point. But I admire all these career soldiers, and I love to see these women who is so much success. You know, it's hard to imagine back then when my mother never had the opportunities she should have had because she was a woman. And that's sad. I always did say that women have a special kind of courage that men don't have. And to say that a woman wouldn't lead men, I would follow any woman if you were my platoon leader. I always had a deep respect for our officers. My company commander was probably one of my best friends. He had been my platoon leader. Never talked to me much. You didn't talk to an officer back in that day unless you went up the line. It's not like it might be today, but not back then. But I understood just how it worked, and I've watched my officers see how they function, and they function real well. We lost both of our platoon leaders. One's still buried at Margraten in the Netherlands, and I go to, every time I go to his grave site, and a couple of those of my comrades who died over there. One that's pictured on the front cover of my book right next to me. He died right next to me. And
okay, so you know me. I'm your neighbor, MC Keegan Air. I'm also the president of the county council. I met Guy 30 plus years ago when I moved into the neighborhood. He mentored all of my children. He taught them how to be good community members. They, all three of them, well, one of them's in the Navy, so he's not able to be here to get today, but the other two were trying to figure out how they could manage to take the day off from work today to come to congratulate you on this. Guy was one of those people where the kids would go around the neighborhood. He mentored all the kids. He passed out coins that he collected from around the world, and he never gave out Halloween candy because he said it wasn't good for the kids' teeth and it wasn't good for their health. He would give them money that he had acquired around the world in all of his travels. And one year, our neighborhood had this tradition. All the parents would get together on the first day of school and sing the kids off to school on the school bus. And it was right after his 50th jump. He showed up in his uniform, and I think there was a bigger turnout and a bigger cheer that day from the kids leaving for school because Mr. Whidden was there in his uniform. So thanks for everything you did for all the kids in the neighborhood. It's the least they can do to shovel your driveway now and keep your grass cut.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jen, for the opening remarks about me. You're doing a good job in the county.
Thank you.
You're a legend of your own.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jan.
That's nice. You're welcome. And we
Yeah.
have a few more people here to your right who would like to say a few words.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Fred Wood. I'm with the Veterans Advisory Council. I'm also representing American Legion Post 121 in Emmitsburg, and it's an honor to stand here with you today.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name is Chris Schiller, and I work with Hospice of Frederick. My first time meeting you, my husband was in the 101st, and I have a son who's in the 101st.
Oh, wow.
Also a retired Army nurse, so it's people like you that led me into the Army to take care of, and as I listen to more stories of your generation, it just makes me proud that there were good Army nurses there taking care of you.
See, I'm talking to a lot of people who are heroes in their time, too, who have done wondrous things. Nurses and generals and everything else.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to meet you.
So,
I'm Patty Redmond, Frederick Chapter DAR, and I'm a widow of a veteran from Vietnam. He died because he was at Agent Orange cancer.
who was he with?
He was Black Ops in Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam,
Yes,
sure.
in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And I have been interviewing veterans for the Veterans History Project for the Library of Congress for many years, and I would love to hear your story recorded and kept forever in the Library of Congress. So this is my information.
All right, thank
And
you.
one more thing, he was a West Point graduate
Yes.
class of '62, and we were at West Point when the young women first came, and it was quite an adventure.
Yes. It's a great place, West Point.
It is a wonderful
I've been
place.
up there and done some research on Colonel Cole. He was the only recipient of the Medal of Honor in the 101st, Colonel Cole. He was 3rd Battalion. I'm sorry, can you hear me back there? Yes, and yeah, I did some research on him. He was killed right nearby me in the Netherlands, doing what he should have been doing, standing out there, and sniper got him, and boy, his men went after that sniper, and he went down fast.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your service.
Well, thank you.
And you're a marvelous man. I've been listening to all the things you've been doing for our community and our children, and thank you for that as well.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes. I want to shake your hand.
Thank you. Oops, yep.
Okay.
My name is Terry Christensen.
Yeah.
I appreciate being here today. Guy, it's been a pleasure to know you.
Mhm.
Got to know you through
Well, thank you.
through Colonel Olson and
Yeah, Colonel
your-
Olson.
and
Good friend of mine.
my son-in-law,
Yep.
Larry. And so it's a pleasure to be here today and to honor you in this manner. And
Well,
thank you so much.
Well, it's nice being honored by your hometown people. This is a different experience for me. Yeah, it's kind of shakes me up a little bit here. Yeah. Yes, you're great people. I love all of you. Yeah.
I'm Alan Phillips. We have met. You're a mean bridge player too.
I know.
I want to warn the crowd. I had the honor of commanding the Deuce.
You were at Fort Campbell.
Fort Campbell. Well, the 502nd is known as the Deuce. They also are
Yeah.
known as the Widowmakers.
Yes. I need a partner for Thursday bridge.
But as commanding officer of the Deuce in Fort Campbell a number of years ago,
Yeah.
people like Guy Whidden, the legacy list exists. And
Thank
it's
you.
a great thing about the Army. We keep the regimental traditions, we keep the designations, and we keep in mind the sacrifice that our forebears
Yes.
have made.
So you were
Congrats.
2nd Battalion Commander.
Second of the Deuce,
Yeah,
correct.
that's very good, sir. I salute all you people, all of you, enlisted officers and every nurses and all that sort of thing. I didn't
Guy.
come to make a speech. Yes.
I'm here representing the Cunningham family. Larry had to be out of town this week.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yes, and
Is he still biking?
oh, of course, he never stops.
And you're still running.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
How's your son doing?
He's doing very well,
Yeah.
and he was kind of jealous today that he was going to miss this. I guess I could have taken him out of school, but he had
Sure.
he's in ROTC at
Well,
school. So
come
he-
see me sometime.
Of course.
Some people think I'm already dead.
Oh no. Well, Larry called you. Larry called you on Sunday, I believe, but we didn't get. He just got the machine. So.
Yeah, one guy said, "My Lord," I said, "What's wrong? Trouble?" He said, "I read your obituary."
Oh
I
no.
said, "Where?" He said, "Baltimore."
Oh no.
I said, "No, I'm still
The wrong
alive."
guy,
I think.
right? It's the wrong
My mind's a little dead, but.
Thank you, sir. Hi, my name is Keith Midbury, and I'm the Veteran Liaison for Hospice of Frederick County. I would like to present you with this pin. It says Proud Veteran on it, and I know there's no prouder veteran than yourself.
I have a special uniform I wear in France with all these things on it that tell my story, my stupid story. But I'll pin these all on that jacket I wear.
Well, I mentioned to you outside that your book, I gave my son his master parachutist most of his time with the 82nd, but he's the battalion commander of the 2506 right now at Fort
Yes.
Campbell, finishing up his successful command tour, and is going to speak on D-Day at the Dick Winters Memorial Statue in the morning.
he's a great man,
And the Easy
Dick
Company
Winters.
in the afternoon. And I got to go to St. Mary Église with him 3
Yes.
years ago and see
Yeah.
that town and see how the French, how they respect and treat and the monuments and the sacrifices of both the 82nd and the 101st. And it just gave me chills to be that and to know that you were there. And that's why your book was so special. I gave that to him when he took command. Only thing better is if I'd have had your autograph on it. So I may get it back from him and I'll get it signed from you. But again, what a pleasure to meet you face to face. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Whidden. My name is John Durr. I'm a retired Army officer. I never had the opportunity to jump out of a perfectly good airplane, so I respect you and admire you for that, those contributions. I will be in Normandy this August, and I would just offer that if there's anything that you want me to take over or anything you want me to say at the American Cemetery, I'd be more than happy to do so.
I might be over there, as it turns out. We're working on it.
Wonderful, wonderful. We'll be there in
So,
August,
might
early
see
September.
you there.
Perhaps we could. I'd be honored
Never
to see you.
know.
Hi, I'm Miles Ward. I'm here today as staff for the newly created Veterans Advisory Council, and just want to thank Jan and MC for doing this great event to honor you.
Yeah, he's done a good job.
I got to know you about 8 years ago when I read your book, and I would highly recommend that book. It's available all of the usual places, and it's just a thrilling history of your life compiled by your kids from your actual letters, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, thank you.
Felt like I got to know you then. Thanks.
Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse me. Mr. Whidden, my name is Robert Van Rens. I'm here on behalf of Senator Ron Young, who's out of town and couldn't make it. And so he sends his regards and congratulations. And personally, it's a great honor. My grandfather was 82nd 504th. He was in the invasion of Italy and Market Garden, and unfortunately he passed several years ago. But I know he would equally have been honored to send his regards as well. So thank you for your
Say
service.
hello to Ron. He taught school too.
He did.
Yes,
He did. I
long
understand
time
he was
ago.
quite good at it.
Yeah, he's done a good job.
Excuse me.
My name is Priscilla Rawl, and I just snuck in here. So if you're wondering what are you doing here, I'm the director of the Frederick County Veterans History Project, and we have done your story. We have interviewed you. It's at the Library of Congress, at the National Veterans History Project in Washington, D.C., and it's not the first time we beat Patty Redmond to the thing. But if you want to learn more about Guy Whidden, and besides reading his book, which of course I have, his interview is at the Maryland room at the Seaver Arts Library, as well as down in Washington, and I don't know if it's been digitalized yet. But anyway, so Guy, I hope nobody is upset with me sneaking in here, but I had to tell them that your story has been recorded, and so thank you for your service again.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think everybody has said what they wanted to say. So, Mr. Whidden, would you like to have make some final comments and share some words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. Well, I was over in France, I believe, sitting on a wall outside of a museum, and a bunch of young students came out. I knew they were students, teenagers, spoke perfect English. I said, "Where are you from?" They said, "Germany." I said, I probably fought against your grandfather and some members of your family, and believe me, they were great soldiers, and many of them didn't want the war any more than we wanted it. And I told them that you as young people of the future, it's too late for me to do anything to help prevent war, but you young people, you're the ones that are going to do it. So they asked me, will you come to our school in Germany and talk to us? I said, sure I will. Well, I haven't gotten a call yet, but that'd be nice. I mean, so many veterans came out of the war not liking the Germans, but they didn't like the war any more than we did. Of course, the one German saved my life, so that sort of sunk in too.
So.
He had the gun pointed to my head and about to send me up there. Well, I always remember him.
I bet you do.
Yes. So, thank you, everybody, and we're honoring all the veterans who have died in the past. All, not just paratroopers. I'm talking about all soldiers who have been in combat, out of combat. But you've done a wonderful job, and I'm not a speech maker. I just talk off the top of my head.
That's good.
I had to, one of the worst times I ever had to get up and talk, they said, Guy, you're going to talk to a bunch of generals tomorrow. I said, General, you mean I have to get up and talk to them? I said, I don't think I can handle it. Well, it all worked out well. It was a tough task, though, because I didn't have time to prepare anything. But that's another story. But anyhow, it's a great life. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I feel very good about it, my hometown people. So this is a different experience than what I've had in the past. And thank all you today's soldiers over here and out there.
Okay.
God bless all of you.
It's been an honor to be here today to recognize you, Guy. You really are our local hometown American hero. And I think you can feel the appreciation of all the people who have the honor to be here today. I do want to say to those who may be viewing this that we do want to encourage you to send a card to Guy to express your thanks, or write to him and share whatever comment you might have. His address is on the screen. It is P.O. Box 379, Braddock Heights, 21714. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you.
Better yet, come visit me.
Or better yet, come to visit him. He's happy to talk to more people. So Guy, you've certainly added to our rich history, and at age 96, you continue to contribute to Frederick County's bright future. So we thank you for all you do, and with that, I will close today's Frederick at its Best ceremony, and let's do that with another round of applause for Mr. Whidden.